But I do think it's important that you come out, and if you do have any information or any internal documents that reveal wrongdoing, I mean, now is the time to kind of bring them out there.
100%. And you know what? I saved a lot of records on myself just to cover my own ass. You know, I screenshotted a lot of stuff on Slack just to save my own ass.
What kind of stuff?
Just things that would show that I'm not just pulling this story out of my butt, you know, and things that show that there's a trail, a record of me trying to do the right thing, always trying to do the right thing. And yes, I am a man of integrity. I've always tried to do that. I've always tried to do the right thing. And obviously, if I'm going to push out a product and I say, hey, here's the deadline here, we're going to try to push this out, we're going to go after it, I'm going to work my tail off to get that mission done. And if someone else is saying, you know, on the back end or leadership or whatever, saying, you know, trying to get my way or do things like that, then what happens to the influence I have on the company? I have no influence. And at that point, towards the end of my time there, I had no influence. My frustration about this whole thing is that getting attacked by these people that follow Safemoon, when it's like, why are you attacking me? The product you're using right now was built because of me and my team. Why are you attacking me when I was out here always trying to look for the betterment of the community? Why are you attacking me when I essentially brought up in a community, pod or a space, saying that I had every intention to make sure that everybody gets paid back on that V1, and then I get reprimanded the next day. How are these people getting mad at me for trying to look after them? And
so towards the end, you had no influence, yet you went on a space and you guaranteed holders from the V1 honeypot were going to get their money back. Why do you think people will not be pissed at you for that?
Because that was the internal conversation. That was the whole point. We were trying to work for that. We were trying to work towards that.
But can you understand why people would be pissed if they thought they were getting their money back from the honeypot and they're still waiting?
Yeah, of course they would be mad. It's at the end of the day, my frustration is I'm drug into this. I have been very clear about me not really knowing, and I'm sure Carly can attest to this, things were very compartmentalized. So if there are claims about like what CoffeeZilla has uncovered and what other people have uncovered, if there are claims about this, well, it's possible. I mean, I'm not going to say anything about it if I don't have all the information. All I can do is speak on behalf of myself.
Well, can you speak in behalf of like the weight of the evidence, right? Like obviously, okay, you might not be 100% sure, but if you could kind of weigh it all out in your mind real quick and tell us, knowing what you know now, given your experience with the company, knowing what you know of John, do you think Safemoon defrauded investors, yes or no?
I don't know, but I think it's concerning. I've talked to several people in confidence, and I said, I'm not going to say anything because I don't know what's going on. I don't have the facts. This is a constant suit that's going through. But if this is true, I'm very concerned. And I want to distance myself very far from that because that is not who I am as a professional.
Not everybody has the freedom to just answer questions. Personal security is really important. And the crypto space is dark and fucking wild. And so you have to be careful about what you say. Maybe because you don't want to. Yeah, I know, Matt, you want to hear all the dirt, but maybe not because you don't want to tell what you know, but because things like your child's life has been threatened and you had to have cops sit outside of your house. And so
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. And I mean, all I can do is ask the question because I don't know everyone's personal, circumstance, right? So I just ask the question and you can answer or not. The thing is, I will tell you, my experience is these people hide behind enough people ducking their head, right? That's how they get away with this stuff. I've seen it time and time again. And this isn't to kind of put the fire under anyone who is worried about something, because obviously there are real concerns out there. But at the same time, the threat of lawsuits, the threat of everything imaginable is how scam artists get away with what they do. If 1,000 people stand up, you can't silence them.
And I absolutely agree with you, but there's also ways to go about doing what you do, not on a public platform for people's entertainment.
Yeah, sure.
It's not entertainment. He's spreading information. I don't see how it's
this is not entertainment. There was a lot of things that on one end, cool, you could do the right thing and stand up. On the other end, you have this legal body, bounding you from, saying things and from coming out with anything. So, and then you get the full weight of the legal system, or you get the full weight of the firepower. So obviously there's a balance, and for me, for anything I said today, a lot of it's public. I'm not bound by anything. And like I said, I've kept records. So, at this point, I'm just really getting sick of the ongoing, like, oh, what was your part in this? And, oh, you created scam. It's like, whatever matures from this, or whatever, results from this, I hope that it's all positive. And I hope that, it gets down to the truth.
So the funds, if at all, if I've taken out from the LP, those were specifically mentioned to take out for the development of the product, for the development of the company. And if at all it is questioned that there is no one working inside the company, then how come we are having these products and the updates and so many things right around the corner? Yeah.
Bro, right around the corner is Safemoon's MO. It's always been right around the corner, hasn't it? I think the whole thing about, we have so much B&B, we have so much B&B, it's all always been used for the development team, for the development of Safemoon. I mean, I think you can say that to John's $5 million. I think you can say it to the millions of dollars of real estate holdings he has. Do you think that getting paid somewhere in the range of, at minimum, $7 to maybe $20 million would be a good first-time CEO's salary within the first year?
At the all-time high, the valuation of the company was around $5.5 billion.
I want to hear what Safemoon Sam has to
say. Bro, Safemoon Sam's still here. Yes, dude, bring him up.
Yeah, he is.
Where's Safemoon Sam? Is he still believing?
What up, baby? So, I just want to say a couple things. You had a 2-hour-long conversation with Papa. That video remains unlisted on your YouTube, and you take information out of it specifically to make it fit your narrative. Now, I'm not saying you are right, or I'm not saying you're wrong. I am saying the practices that you do embellish your story and sell your narrative, and that's not a right thing to do when you're making people nervous.
People don't want to watch a 2-hour call. They want to watch like the version that makes sense, right? The version that's like digestible. But if you want to go through the whole 2-hour call to make sure to fact check me, you can go ahead and do that. So I noticed you didn't say anything in the 2-hour Papa call that I actually got out of context. And I also noticed you don't seem to be taking issue with the evidence that I'm talking about, right? Of John Karony, how he got these $5 million, these $2.5 million houses, these other $1 million houses, right? Where is your outrage about that? I don't understand. You're outraged that I put an unlisted video on my channel voluntarily and linked to it in the top of the fold so that everyone could go to it and fact check it. But you're not mad when John Karony doesn't respond every single time his project is accused of these horrible things, right? He's had every single opportunity to respond and debunk all these accusations, and yet he's nowhere to be found. His family doesn't even like him. He's suing his own family, and yet you like him more than his own mother does. I'm just confused where this love, since you're so unbiased, you have no incentive except for all the Safemoon you hold.
Yeah, sure. I'll say that I'm a reasonable, logical person, and what you have is evidence of. Can I finish? Are you going to interrupt me? I let you.
Safemoon Sam, you speak very rudely to people, so that's not going to get you very far. I want to let you to continue to talk, even though the last time you talked to Coffeezilla, it was like 4 hours of nothing. But we'll let you get to the bottom of your point here.
We only debated once. We didn't talk about that. And 365, the people who love to fudge.
Calm down.
This is my tone of voice. I'm Arab. We are very passionate people. Let me just talk. God damn.
So passionate and logical.
There's a difference between making entertainment and making speculation and making people sell at the bottom of the market based on that speculation.
He has presented factual information about where money has gone and where money has moved to. How do you refute that without the emotion, without he said it in a certain way and he talked to the wrong person? He's literally said that in 3 months, John Karony has made $5 million. He was fucking living in a trailer park before. He admits it. He literally posted it on Instagram. He was living in a trailer or whatever. And suddenly he has $5 million to throw. Where did the money come from?
Yeah, I'd love to answer that. And for information, guys, I don't get emotional, right? I'm literally I'm choosing to do this because there's a lot of people talking.
Bro, just answer the question.
John was making how much as a deputy at his government job? 6 figures? How much was that trailer worth actually? How much did Fudhound and his girlfriend put into the project? How much do you think John could have put into the project early on?
John didn't put shit into the
So
project.
when you're developing an exchange, what do you need? Liquidity, right?
Can I respond?
Sure thing, bud.
Yeah. So the liquidity, no matter what you say about like, oh, it was meant for development or whatever, you have the simple situation of Safemoon said there was no way for the developers to make money until 4 years after the project because the LP was locked auto-magically, right? That was their words, not mine. That's what they said. So no matter what they want to say about like development, that was just their promise to investors to take them safely to the moon. Obviously, we all know that's a lie. Nobody even tries to debate that anymore. Everyone knows that that was a big farce, right? So we know they stole money. Now the only question is, well, did they steal money for themselves or did they steal money for this quote, quote, development? Okay, so you have a $5 million investment from John Karony into this quote, quote, Dark Moon Area 32 thing. We now know from John Karony's mother, who I don't think she would have any reason to lie, said that John Karony put his own personal wealth into that. So when you say, oh, they're spending millions of dollars to invest, you mean John Karony is spending $5 million that he took from Safemoon to put it into his own name, which the Safemoon army would have no claim to. That's what you actually mean, whether you realize it or not. So where did that money come from, if not the LP, when we all agree and know that they had no other way to make money?
It's cool. Yeah. We don't want to talk about how an exchange needs liquidity. I get it. We don't want to talk about how...
Sam, you can't just come into a space and shout at people and expect to not answer their questions when they put something back at you. You've asked Coffee a question, Coffee's answered, now Coffee's asking you a question. Where did John get the money? Answer Coffee's question or get the fuck out.
How much money was he earning as a government employee? Did he invest into the own thing that he was working on potentially? Why are these not...
I'm sorry. I launched him. Crypto Control has a question.
Hey, I just wanted to make a couple points really fast. And one is that Fudhound is gone, but he was saying, why are people attacking me whenever I was here for the community and I was doing everything for you? And we all know that everybody loved Thomas. Everybody loved Ryan. Everybody loved me. But as soon as you are not part of the dream of everybody being rich, you become the enemy and logic goes out the window. And it's directly related to what Sam is talking about, that he says that he's logical, but then he starts throwing out random theories that maybe John made enough money while we're looking at blockchain evidence, watching millions of dollars of Tether go from the Bitmart account to his Kraken account, connected to all his wallets that Coffee and his team found. The last thing I wanted to say was to Coffee, and it was kind of that everybody that I've talked to, because I've reached out to as many people as I can, and everything that you guys found, it's like the worst FUD of Safemoon came down to John Karony, and the worst fudder of Safemoon is John Karony. But when it comes to the Bitmart deal, everybody working around him, it's like not many people know, like maybe a couple people around John actually know the agreement between the Bitmart deal. Otherwise, it seems like even as close as people don't have those details. So they're not able to become whistleblowers because they don't know exactly where he got that money from. And that's where the fraud occurred.
Crypto Control, do you have anything?
Yeah, actually, I did have one question. And I think I already know the answer, but I figure it's worth asking. You know, for me, I personally don't want to lead somebody on to buy or sell, because if something happens to take off, then I don't want to be the person that like talked them out of it. Do you feel is like your position that this is most likely going to zero and that the best thing people can do now, because some people have a lot still invested in it, is to take out their position right now?